I really love the holiday time. I love it so much that it makes me a little melancholy because I think, well, here we are in the holiday time and this is going to pass in 1 second and soon we're going to be like miserable and not have a holiday to look forward to, right? I don't know if you know this about me. Like, I have this crazy thing about how much I hate summer. It's a kind of seasonal disorder thing, right? Like I get really sad in the summertime so that when October comes around and it starts getting cool, I start like, it's almost like I thaw out, like the opposite of thaw out. I start like freezing up and getting really happy about being frozen or something. I think Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, since I'm a little kid, I just really like it. My father worked in the children's wear industry, and the main building for that was at 112 West 34th Street. In those days, all the children's wear showrooms were in that building, which was across the street from Macy's. And so we used to go to his showroom, which had windows looking down on 34th Street, and watch this insanity every Thanksgiving, right? And so I grew to really, really love that day. I think of it as this like fabulous like day with no religion attached to it and nothing. Like you don't have to do anything on Thanksgiving. There's no presents. If you don't like turkey, you don't really have to eat turkey. I look at Thanksgiving as this wonderful day to celebrate the new family that I have around myself. My husband and basically my dogs. And we think about like, having people or going to people or going away and doing it. But it really is the best to me to be home with him and the dogs alone. And usually we like cook something really elaborate. On Thanksgiving, we like do something very elaborate, and we do courses and dessert, and it's really fun. And weirdly, what's weird about this is like, I'm thinking about this coming Thanksgiving and I'm thinking like, well, maybe we'll do this like crazy fried chicken that's not easy to make. And then I think about eating it and I think like, I'm gonna be really sick if I eat that food. I mean, I like leftovers, except between me and Arnold, like it doesn't really get eaten and it just gets thrown away and it's very tragic, But it's like, if you eat stuff like that after 50, you just feel like it just makes you feel so terrible to eat like more than like a sliver of cake. I mean that. Or more than like half a piece of anything fried. Like anything fried is just gonna make you I'm telling you, I get so ill from food, but I love it and I'm never gonna stop eating. And so Thanksgiving is kind of great. And then comes Christmas, right? And the thing is, for like Jews, Christmas is kind of great, because it's not the same expectation, I guess, for Christians who are just planning this crazy mad thing with trees and decorations and icicles and, like lawn sculptures and lights and everything. Like Jews don't have to do that, but they can look at it and they can go see the Rockettes without any real investment, My mother, again, we went to see, this is a long time ago, we went to see Passage to India. So this is like 1980 or something, seriously, together on Christmas Day. We went to see it. It opened on Christmas Day. We went on Christmas Day. This movie with Judy Davis? Woohoo, right? You're in a theater and it's cold outside and you're warm inside and there's some wonderful show or some terrible show. And by the way, sometimes a terrible show is really fun, okay? After the movie, my mother looks at me, she says, well, what are we gonna talk about now? That was great. So there was nothing to talk about at dinner. We had absolutely nothing to say to one another. But if it's bad, it's like so much fun to see like something bad that you can rag about, I have this one tradition, this new tradition in my life around the Christmas holidays, which is this Peter and the Wolf show that I do at the Guggenheim, which is such a great thing. It like, first of all, that it happens up there, because I don't really go uptown that much. The only three things that bring me uptown are the Guggenheim to do Peter and the Wolf, and the Carlisle to do my shows at the Carlisle, and I go to the chiropractor up there on 74th Street, right? And Peter and the Wolf is this great thing that I do at the Guggenheim. It's a new tradition of about, I'd say, 12 years. I started just narrating it and collaborating with different artists who would do these massive installations, these kind of Peter and the Wolf theme installations on the stage in the auditorium, which is one of the most charming rooms of New York. And it's a landmark. Thank God it's going nowhere, right? And by the way, like if you try to design something for the stage, you can't. Everything has to tape because you can't put nails or anything. It's this darling little space. I started by doing these collaborations with artists, and then I had an idea to actually create a show, a live show with dancers, performers, and to work with this fantastic choreographer who I'd been friends with for some time named John Higginbotham. And he did all the choreography and I staged it and I made the costumes and I narrate it. And these days it's played very excellently by Ensemble Signal, which is a small, sort of a chamber orchestra of about, I'd say 12 pieces, I think it is altogether. You feel like you're in the Guggenheim, you feel like you're in the room, and you also feel like you're in Central Park because my version of Peter and the Wolf is set in Central Park. And I would say that my Carlisle show, although it's after the holiday time, it's still for me like prime kind of winter New York fantasy, especially being up there on the Upper East Side, like in January and February. And I love that sometimes it snows when I'm up there and I'm doing a show and people come in the snow and I can't believe it, and I love that. I love that nothing stops New Yorkers, Nothing stops Upper East Siders. One thing that sucks about me is that gifts are really hard to get me. They're very, very hard to get me. I get myself gifts that I love, It's funny, like with Arnold, like he's nearly as impossible to buy presents for as I am, because he's so specific, and I will I will buy him like a diamond ring for Christmas, and he's like, yeah, thanks, and then he never wears it, or like a Rolex, he'd rather have like a new pair of jeans. But when you do give something that is meaningful to somebody else, and and you can feel it and you can sense it, there's nothing better than giving someone a good present, We didn't really have rituals around holidays when I was a kid, because like Jewish holidays are not really that fun. There's one or two of them that are sort of fun, like Sukkot is fun because you sit in like a little hut outside. That's fun, right? And Hanukkah is fun because it's Hanukkah and it's festive. Also, Purim is a lot of fun because you're supposed to get drunk on Purim. And the first time I ever got drunk was on Purim. I'm not kidding. I had all of this like Manischewitz wine and I was like blotto when I was about 15 years old. I guess Rosh Hashanah, I don't know, not my thing. Yom Kippur is not my thing, like Day of Atonement, no. Low. It's like I eat more on Yom Kippur. Seriously. Well, because, Yom Kippur is about fasting and apologizing for being obnoxious. So basically, I'm 5 times as obnoxious on Yom Kippur, and I eat 5 times as much. On Purim, we dressed up. But here's the drag. It's like, you call it fancy dress, but then it's one of 4 costumes, right? It's either Mordechai, Haman, Esther, or Achashverosh. That's it. You can't be like a bumblebee for Purim. I once got in trouble because I went as a goldfish. I made this elaborate goldfish costume and it didn't go over well in Yeshiva Flatbush. But no, like a full-on goldfish, because I had a goldfish and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a goldfish. I was like 8 and it was this whole cardboard construction with scales and it was really great. You're supposed to do one of those 4, Really, Jews? Really, you're going to do that to the funnest day? You're going to make it about like 4 Bible characters? Uh-uh.